So Kelsey Mitchell has been unbelievable. She has been absolutely unbelievable. And this is coming from somebody that put her in the almost all-star level player. Didn't think she should have been an all-star. And I stand by this up to a point in this season, regardless of what her points per game numbers were. Kelsey Mitchell was not playing like an all-star. As much as her stats were good, I thought up to a point she was doing a lot of crazy things. But this version of Kelsey Mitchell that we have seen post All-Star break is playing at an all WNBA level. And it's not the stats. It's not these stats. If you watch Kelsey Mitchell, you know, when she is just in rhythm catching the ball, when she is making drives off one dribble, running in transition, focused, and just doing smart things and taking good shots, she shoots at a ridiculously high percentage. When she goes dribble, step back long two, she shoots it at a really low percentage. And she's kind of stopped that. And if you guys agree, subscribe. Thank you guys, 27.3k. If we can hit 27.35k by the end of the day, that would be insane. But when we're talking about Kelsey Mitchell, we've got to talk about the strengths. And her strengths are that she's an unbelievable shooter, she's a really good finisher, and she's unbelievably quick. Defensively, she has come out and been better. She has been much better on defense post-Olympic break. And this has come from someone who had been a very poor defender for quite a lot of the season. She has been significantly better on defense. So you got to give credit where credit's due there. And not only that, you can tell that Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, just like in those last few games before the All-Star break, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston had found just a way of linking up. You can tell that that four of Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, whoever the fifth player is. But when those four people are on the floor, you can tell everybody knows what the other's going to do. And to be fair, it's the same if you replace Lexi Hull with Katie Lou. But Katie Lou's just obviously not going to give you the same defense or running. But if you haven't seen what Kelsey Mitchell now, Kelsey Mitchell is just, all she's doing is running off the ball. When she gets the ball, if she is not open to shoot or has a one dribble drive to the basket, you know what she does now? Instead of what she used to do, dribble, start running around in circles in the middle of the key and shoot up the craziest shot imaginable. She gives it back to Caitlin. Because it seems like she must have just seen a lot of tape and been like, oh man, all I have to do is just run and cut and run into open space and I'm going to be wide open. I'm going to be wide open to shoot as many shots as possible. And you can see she's averaging 27.5 points per game. But when she makes smart decisions, she is a 23, 24 point per game scorer. I'm not joking. I think there is a scenario, especially with the way the Fever play offense right now, where coming into next season, if you can keep Kelsey Mitchell and Indiana, give her the max. You can pay her more than anywhere else. Give her a max. She's only going to want a 1-year deal. Then you guys can retool. If you want to move away from Kelsey Mitchell, that's fine. But give her a max. Give her another year. Because the Kelsey Mitchell that we saw through the first, I'm not even going to say first 10 games, through the first 20-something games, it's a different player. And it's not just about her stats. It is a different player. If you watch the game, I don't remember her taking a dumb shot in the last two games. If she is not open, she passes the ball and then relocates. Whereas in the past, we might as well have called her Kelsey the offense stops here Mitchell. As soon as the ball hit her hand, it was dribble, step back, jump shot. Once the ball went to her side, it was never being reversed. And now, look, she does shoot some crazy shots in transition. She shoots some mad threes that no one else in the team would shoot, but they go in, and I'm fine with that. She's a really high three-point shooter. She's a great three-point shooter. I don't care if she shoots three-point shots. Look, we're looking at Caitlin Clark as a much lower percentage shooter, shooting mad stuff. It's about keeping defenses honest at the end of the day. That's the thing with spacing. That's the thing with being these elite scorers. And they free up space for everyone else. She's now getting 6 to 8 points a game off just running her ass off in transition and Caitlin Clark finding her. This is what the team needs. Because Caitlin Clark is a very good scorer. But if you can play the role of a Kate Martin on steroids, as in be that off the ball cutter, spot up shooter, run really hard to the basket, go and finish. And I know she's not as solid on the offensive end as Kate Martin, But it doesn't mean by solid as in like less weaknesses. But that doesn't mean she's not unbelievable, significantly better at everything she's good at. Like, she can be that type of just unguard. Like Kelsey Mitchell with Caitlin Clark. The only way Kelsey Mitchell is not unguardable with this team, it's between her two ears. And you can see the IQ improvement. Not even the IQ improvement. Like, you can see the, like, just feel for the game improvement that she's made. That these players, or that her and Caitlin Clark have made over that Olympic break. And it's scary because Kelsey Mitchell is, as far as, like, efficiency shooting wise, of all the Arikes, and by the Arikes, I mean the Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Plum, Arike herself, obviously, Kennedy Carter, Kelsey Mitchell. You know those. You know the Arikes. The we're going to just chuck and pray. She is the best of... She is the most efficient shooter of every single one of them. She's the best shooter. She's the best off the ball of every single one of them. Other than maybe Kelsey Plum. Maybe Kelsey Plum. But Kelsey Plum has not been great this season. But that's the level that she is. Like, she could be a better version of what Kelsey Plum is. And then you've got Caitlin Clark hitting her in the break now. You, like, don't... Whatever you do, Indiana, do not let her go. Like, look... If this season doesn't work out and next season doesn't work out and you need more defense, if it turns out that Caitlin Clark pushes her scoring average to 25 points a game next year and you can afford to, instead of having, let's just say, a 18 point per game Mitchell, you can afford to bring in a 15 point per game defender or 14 point per game defender for the totality of your team, then cool. There is no shooting guard in the market because, look, you're not bringing Dejanay Carrington. Like, basketball-wise, Carrington suits perfectly, but just personality-wise, I don't think that would be the greatest idea. But Kelsey Mitchell is... There's no better shooting guards in free agency. Nobody's going to be under contract through 2026. So you're signing people on one-year deals. Give Kelsey Mitchell her max. You have one max slot. You have a max... If you give Kelsey Mitchell a max, you have a max contract slot. With the Erica Wheeler contract being gone. You can effectively try to get whoever you want to either come in at the 3 or replace Nalissa Smith at the 4. The big 3. There is a big 3 in Indiana, and right now, the way they're playing, they look to be the second best big 3 in the entire WNBA. Maybe third if you want to count the Aces. But they're a top 3 big 3. They're clearly not nearly on the level of Jonquel, Stewie, Breanna. But I don't think they're that much worse than the big 3 of Aja, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. The version of Kelsey Mitchell that we saw before the Olympic break is replaceable. This version of Kelsey Mitchell, playing with high IQ, not doing mad stuff, not over dribbling the ball, making sure that she's allowing making sure that basically she's letting Caitlin Clark make the decisions. Because look, Kelsey Mitchell's biggest flaw is her decision making. She's allowing Caitlin Clark, who's one of the best decision makers in the entire WNBA. She is now basically saying, I'm going to let her make the decision. I'm going to work really hard to get open. And when I'm open, I'm going to hit the shot. Because when I'm open, she's going to find me. And it's like something just clicked in her head that she's like, it's a lot easier to shoot when I'm open, or it's a lot easier to just drive to the basket and cut and just take layups than it is to dribble 17 times and hope for the best. It's like something just clicked and it's like, oh, that's what coaches have probably been telling me to do. Okay, yeah, Caitlin, you just go get the ball. I'm just going to cut. Go find me on the cut. So, yeah, like, look, Kelsey Mitchell, she's been brilliant. She's been absolutely brilliant. Like, she's not just, the way she's playing right now is not just at an all-star level, she's playing at an all-WNBA level. And the Fever right now, look, they're clearly not favorites. They're clearly not favorites. They're clearly not as good as the Liberty. They're clearly not as good as the Lynx. I'm not saying right now, they're probably not as good as the Aces. And I mean that. They're probably not as good. They're probably not as good as the Storm. They're probably not as good as the Sun. I can't say they're definitely not as good as any of those teams. The only two teams I can say I think are definitely better than the Fever are the Lynx and the the Liberty. That's it.